My name is Cheyenne. I'm a father. I may not be rich or perfect, but I love my son more than anything in this world. His name is Zion, and he just turned 6. He's a bright, curious little boy with a big smile that can melt anyone's heart. Every time I hear him call me Baba, I feel like I've done at least one thing right in my life. I used to be married to his mother, Hina. We were together for almost 7 years. In the beginning, things were good. We had love, laughter, and dreams. But like many couples, things slowly started to fall apart. Arguments, misunderstandings, and distance took over. Eventually, we decided to separate. It was not an easy decision. The hardest part was thinking about how it would affect Zion. He was just a toddler when we split up. We agreed on shared custody. I would get weekends and some holidays. It wasn't much, but I accepted it, because at least I could still be a part of his life. Over the last few years, Hina moved on. She met someone new and got married again. I won't lie, that hurt. Not because I still loved her, but because I felt like I was being slowly pushed out of my son's life. Her new husband started taking on more and more dad responsibilities, while I was treated like a distant relative. Still, I kept quiet. I stayed calm for Zion. I showed up whenever I could: school events, doctor's visits, sports day. I brought him his favorite snacks, played video games with him, helped him with homework. I did everything a father is supposed to do, even when no one acknowledged it. Then came his 6th birthday. Hina sent me a message saying there would be a party at her house, and I was welcome to come. Just those words, no details, no warm invitation, no enthusiasm. Still, I was excited. It was my son's big day. I bought him a gift I knew he'd love, a remote control robot he'd been talking about for months. I spent extra time wrapping the gift and writing a sweet card. I even wore my best shirt, hoping I would get to take some nice photos with him. I told myself, it doesn't matter how they treat you. This is for Zion. As I drove to the party, I kept thinking about how happy he would be to see me. I didn't expect hugs and smiles from anyone else, but I just wanted one thing: to celebrate my son's birthday like a father should. I had no idea what was waiting for me. I arrived at the party around 4 p.m. It was being held at Hina's house, the same house we used to live in together years ago. Pulling into the driveway, I could already hear kids laughing in the backyard, music playing, and people talking loudly. I took a deep breath and stepped out of the car, holding the neatly wrapped gift in one hand. I told myself to smile for Zion. As I walked through the side gate into the backyard, I saw balloons, a colorful banner that said, "Happy Birthday, Zion," and a rented bouncy castle filled with kids. Tables were set up along the lawn, filled with snacks, drinks, and decorations. There were at least 30 people, family, friends, and neighbors. No one noticed me at first. A few people glanced in my direction, but no one greeted me. I spotted Hina standing near the cake table with her new husband, Armin. She was smiling and chatting with guests, acting like everything was perfect. Zion was running around in the yard, playing tag with 2 other kids. When he saw me, his face lit up. "Baba!" he shouted, running toward me with his arms wide open. My heart melted. I knelt down and hugged him tightly. "Happy birthday, champ," I whispered. "I brought you something really cool." He smiled. "Did you get the robot?" I winked. "You'll have to open it and see." We sat down on a bench and talked for a bit. He was so happy, full of energy, and didn't stop smiling. Those few minutes with him made everything worth it. After a while, Hina came over. Her smile faded when she saw me sitting with Zion. She didn't say hello, just gave a short nod and said, "There's space for you over there." She pointed toward a small table near the house, close to the bathroom door. It was far from the main setup. The main table, where her family and close guests were sitting, had food, drinks, and decorations. The one she pointed at had a single chair and an empty paper plate. I stood there for a moment, confused. Maybe it was a mistake? "Sorry," I asked gently. "Is there space near Zion?" She looked annoyed. "That table is full. This one's for guests." "But I'm his father." She shrugged. "Well, you're here, aren't you?" Armin, standing next to her, smirked and said under his breath, "Should have come earlier if you wanted better seats." I clenched my jaw but stayed silent. I didn't want to create drama in front of my son. I quietly walked to the small table and sat down. From where I sat, I could barely see the cake or the decorations. The smell from the bathroom wasn't pleasant. I watched as he and his family laughed, served each other food, and clapped along to songs. Zion would run past me every few minutes, waving or smiling, but he was being pulled back into the crowd. I wanted to be happy for him. I told myself, just stay calm. This is his day. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling. I was being treated like an outsider at my own son's birthday. No one offered me food. No one asked how I was. No one made space for me near my son. The gift I brought was placed on a side table, away from the others. I watched as everyone else's presents were opened first, with applause and attention. Mine just sat there untouched. I looked at my watch. It had only been 45 minutes since I arrived, but it felt like hours. That's when I reShayanzed. Maybe this party wasn't about Zion at all. Not really. Maybe it was just about showing off. And I wasn't invited to celebrate. I was allowed to show up just to be reminded I didn't belong. But I did belong to Zion. I was his father. And soon, I knew I couldn't just sit there and smile through it. I sat there quietly, trying to keep a smile on my face. But inside, I was crumbling. I watched Zion run from one end of the yard to the other. He was laughing, playing games, and enjoying the party like any 6-year-old should. I didn't want to ruin that. No matter how I felt, I told myself again and again, this is his day. Stay calm. Stay strong. But every minute that passed made me feel more invisible. The cake was brought out, a big, superhero-themed one with Zion's favorite cartoon on top. Everyone gathered around. I stood up from my little table and moved closer, hoping to be part of the moment, even if just to sing along. I wanted to be there when he blew out the candles. But just as I reached the group, one of Hina's cousins stepped in front of me. Sorry, can you move back a little? We're trying to get photos of the family. I looked around. I am family, I replied softly. She blinked, then turned away without saying anything. I stood there awkwardly as everyone sang Happy Birthday. I clapped with them, but no one noticed. When the candles were blown and the photos were taken, Zion looked around, searching it seemed, and finally spotted me in the back. Baba, did you see me blow out the candles? He shouted. I smiled and nodded. Of course, champ. He waved, but then his mother gently pulled him away to take more photos with her and her new husband. Armin held Zion on his hip like he was his own son. That stung more than I wanted to admit. After the cake, they began opening gifts. Everyone was gathered in a circle. Again, I stood off to the side, watching as Zion unwrapped toys, books, and games. People clapped and laughed with every gift. But my gift? Still sitting alone on the table near the back. I walked over, picked it up, and slowly brought it forward. I think this one's for me, I said, but Hina looked at me with a cold smile. We'll open it later. Zion reached for it, but she gently pulled his hand away. It's okay, baby. Let's do this one first, she said, pointing to another box. That was it. I walked back to my chair near the bathroom wall, sat down, and stared at the grass. My hands were shaking. My chest felt heavy. I felt humiliated, unwanted, like I had been invited just to be ignored. Then something happened that changed everything. Zion came over. He had frosting on his cheek, and his shirt was stained with juice. He looked tired, but his eyes were still full of life. He stood in front of me and tilted his head. Baba, why are you sitting here by yourself? He asked. I blinked, surprised. I don't know, buddy. Why didn't you sit with everyone else? I forced a smile. They said there wasn't room. He frowned, thinking hard. Then he looked at the cake table, the gift pile, and back at me. Can I sit here with you? He asked, already climbing into my lap. I hugged him tightly. You can sit with me forever if you want. For a moment, I forgot everyone else. It was just me and my son, quiet, honest, real. Then he asked, Can I open your gift now? Before I could answer, Hina's voice rang out from across the yard. Zion, come back. We're not done yet. He looked at her, then at me. I whispered, "Do you want to stay here a little longer?" He nodded. That moment broke something inside me and built something else. I reShayanzed. I didn't need their approval. I didn't need their smiles or chairs at their tables. I had Zion, and Zion still chose me. That's when I made the decision. When I didn't plan. One I never thought I'd make on his birthday. It was time to go. Zion sat quietly in my lap, playing with the edge of the gift wrap on his present. For the first time during the party, I felt calm. It was just me and him. No noise, no judgment, just the two of us. I watched his small fingers trace over the corners of the box, eager but patient. He looked up at me with a soft smile. "Can I open it now, Baba?" I glanced toward the main crowd. Hina and her husband were still busy entertaining guests. No one was paying attention to us. In that moment, I reShayanzed something deep. We weren't part of their celebration. Not really. I nodded. "Go ahead." He tore the paper with excitement, his eyes widening as he pulled out the remote control robot, the one he had been dreaming about for months. "Yes," he shouted, holding it up like it was a trophy. "This is the best." I smiled, trying not to tear up. "I'm glad you like it, champ." "Can we play with it now?" he asked. I hesitated. "Do you want to?" He nodded. "I don't like those people. They don't talk to me much. I just want to be with you." That was it. That one sentence broke me. All this time, I had been trying to stay calm, stay respectful, and not ruin his day. But the truth was, they were the ones ruining it, not me. They had turned his birthday into a show, full of people who care more about pictures and feelings. I stood up slowly, holding his hand. "Zion," I said gently, "do you want to come with me? We'll go somewhere just you and me." He looked confused. "Now?" "Yeah, we'll get your favorite ice cream, play with your robot, maybe go to the park, just us." His face lit up. "Really? Let's go." I picked up the robot and took one last look around. No one even noticed we were leaving. Not until we were already at the gate. "Where are you going?" Hina's voice snapped from across the yard. I turned around calmly. "We're leaving." She walked over quickly, her eyes narrowing. "You can't just take him. It's his birthday. He is my son," I said quietly, "and he wants to spend time with his father." Her husband stepped in. "You're making a scene." I looked him in the eyes. "No, I've been sitting next to the bathroom for 2 hours. That wasn't a scene. That was disrespect." Hina folded her arms. "This is petty." I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I simply turned to Zion and asked, "You ready, champ?" He nodded, holding my hand tighter. As we walked out the gate, I heard whispers behind us. People saying things like, "What's wrong with him?" Or, "Is he really doing this?" Yes, I was really doing it. Because I finally reShayanzed, I didn't have to accept being treated like a guest in my son's life. We drove away, windows down, the wind in our faces. Zion played with the buttons on his new robot, laughing as it made sounds and flashlights. "Baba," he said, "this is the best birthday ever." I smiled. "Yeah, it is." We got ice cream, sat on a bench, and just talked. About school, superheroes, and how the robot might be able to defeat Shayans if we upgraded it. There were no decorations, no music, no crowd, just love. Honest, simple, real love. And in that moment, I didn't feel like I had taken him away from his party. I felt like I had finally given him one. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of small feet running through my apartment. Zion was already awake, still wearing his party clothes from the day before. His robot was in his hands, flashing lights and making loud beep sounds. "Baba, look, I made it do the spin move." I sat up and smiled. "That's awesome, champ. You've already figured out more than I did." He climbed into bed beside me and said, "Yesterday was the best day ever." Those words filled my heart. It wasn't about the expensive cake, the decorations, or how many people clapped. It was about feeling loved and seen. That's what made it special for him. And for me. After breakfast, we went to the park. We raced each other, played on the swings, and even made up a silly game with the robot. We laughed more that day than we had in a long time. Later, While he was building something with blocks on the living room floor, I received a text from Hina. You had no right to walk out with him. That was embarrassing in front of my family. I stared at the message for a long time. She wasn't angry because I ruined Zion's day. She was angry because I ruined the image she was trying to show the world. I didn't reply. Not yet. I looked at my son, calm, focused, happy, and decided that right now he mattered more than any argument. Later in the evening, Zion asked me a question that stayed in my heart. Baba, why didn't you sit with everyone at the party? I paused, choosing my words carefully. Sometimes, grown-ups don't treat each other nicely, even when they should. But it's never your fault, okay? He nodded, quiet for a moment. Then he asked, were you sad? I took a breath. Yeah, I was, but being with you made it better. He scooted closer and hugged me. I love you, Baba. That hug, that one sentence, healed everything. Over the next few days, things were tense. Hina tried to make me feel guilty. She said I made her look bad in front of her relatives. Her husband called me dramatic, but I stayed calm. I told her plainly, if you ever plan another event for Zion and I'm invited, I expect to be treated like his father, not like a stranger. She didn't respond, but I didn't need her approval anymore. I wasn't interested in parties where my place was next to a bathroom. I was interested in memories like the one we created, messy, simple, but full of joy. Zion kept talking about his real birthday, the one we spent together. He even drew a picture at school of the two of us eating ice cream, with the robot on the table. His teacher sent it home with a note. Zion said this was his favorite memory from his birthday. Thank you for being there. And that was all the confirmation I needed. Because at the end of the day, my role isn't just to show up. It's to make sure my son knows. He will never have to wonder if he matters to me. It's been a few weeks since Zion's birthday, and I still think about that day almost every night. Not because I regret what I did, but because I finally understood something very important. Sometimes as a father, or even just as a person, you have to choose self-respect over silence. And sometimes doing what's right doesn't look perfect to others. The world might say I overreacted. Some people might think I ruined the party. But when I look into my son's eyes and see the love, the peace, and the joy we shared that day, I know I did the right thing. Zion still talks about the robot. He still smiles when he remembers us eating ice cream on that bench. He even told me, next year, let's just do my birthday our way, Baba. Just us. That's when I knew. He felt the difference too. No one wants to feel like a guest in their own child's life. No one deserves to be treated like an outsider at a celebration meant for someone they love. And no child should grow up thinking it's okay to treat someone who loves them like that. That day wasn't just about cake and decorations. It became a turning point in how I show up for my son, not just physically, but emotionally. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't create a fight. I simply chose to remove myself from a place where I wasn't respected. And I took my son with me to a space where love was real. That decision changed something in me. It reminded me that fatherhood isn't measured in party invites or seating arrangements or who looks good in family photos. It's measured in time, in presence, in the quiet moments where your child feels safe and loved. I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes in life, in my marriage, in my past. But the one thing I know for sure, I will always show up for Zion. And I will always choose what's best for him, even if it means walking away from people who try to push me aside. So to any parent reading or listening to this, don't let anyone make you feel small for loving your child the way you do. Stand your ground. Be there. Be present. Because kids don't remember who brought the biggest gift or the loudest laugh. They remember who stood beside them, even when no one else did. That day, I thought I was just leaving a birthday party. But really, I was walking towards something far more meaningful. A stronger bond, a deeper love, and a reminder that sometimes the quietest decisions make the loudest impact.